and how accessible they are and how accessible they should be. And as a short motivation, PDFs in the STEM world are very important. There are many reasons. I only give two here. They produce a final format which is rendering formulas and everything very precisely to what the author has intended to convey that information. There are many others. One not unimportant one is that large part of the STEM world is using LaTeX to produce PDFs and to produce documents, and LaTeX is producing PDF documents. So PDF in the STEM world is actually quite one of the main formats. Now, perception of PDF, accessibility, if you ask around in the accessibility community, if you talk to people who are blind or have other needs in that space, then basically what you get as a feedback is PDF is totally rubbish. We can't use PDF documents to understand what the contents of the document should be if we are in need of accessibility tools. And so one thing that we did recently was to make a reality check and see how good or bad things are in case you need accessibility. So in other words, what have we been inflicting to those users for the last 30 years since we are producing PDF documents as the output of STEM? So what we did was we produced artificial but hopefully typical STEM document and check out what that means if it comes to accessibility. And at the end there will be some conclusions. So this is the document that I'm going to talk about in this presentation. It has a typical preamble, a couple of packages being loaded. There's an abstract, there's a table of contents, you have a couple of headings, section headings, you have text, of course. We also put in a footnote, which sometimes happens in such documents. Then what we have as well is we have a bit of mathematics, not very complicated, but a couple of things here. We have lists nested, we have references to lists, we have figures and tables. There is an inline figure there at the right-hand side. We have a small little table with two columns and a header, or two headers actually. What else? We have a side note somewhere in the margin. We have a floating figure. We have one theorem and a bit of verbatim data. And finally, we have a bibliography with some citations somewhere. So that's the document. And I think you will agree with me, it's kind of what you typically find in such documents. The complexity is not very high, so it shouldn't be too difficult to read this aloud by some accessibility tools, right? So what we did, we processed it with LaTeX. We used screen reader for PDF, Foxit in that case. We used NVDA for speech generation under Windows, and we used an NVDA add-on to have the mathematics being read. That's sort of the tool set we used. And did you memorize the structure? Bit, okay. In that case, close your eyes, relax, enjoy, and I will read it to you, or rather I'll have it read to you, okay? And I would suggest you actually don't peek. You already seen the source, so you have an idea of what is in there. You will see the document as it is rendered on the screen, so if you really need to peek to get an idea of what is read to you, do it, but try to do without, okay? No, I show it. here's the document, but as I said, close your eyes. Okay.
Layout is used. The tagging enables the reading order to correct.
Not from the
Column
beginning.
example. The LaTeX Team 2025-0618. Abstract. An example document showing automatic tagging of typical structures found in a LaTeX document, including titles, sections, theorems, lists, citation lists and mathematics. A two-column layout is used. The tagging enables the reading order to correctly follow the flow of text through the columns. Contents. Link 1 Introduction 1 Introduction 1. Link 2 Document Structures 2 Document Structures 1. Link 2.1 Mathematics 2.1 Mathematics ... 1. Link 2.2 Lists 2.2 Lists ... 1. Link 2.3 Figures and Tables 2.3 Figures and Tables ... 2. Link 2.4 Theorems 2.4 Theorems ... 2. Link 2.5 Verbatim 2.5 Verbatim ... 2. Link 3 Citations 3 Citations 2. 1 Introduction. This document shows a typical two-column document incorporating tables, figures, and mathematics. Apart from two commands at the start to enable tagging, and a small amount of additional markup to give alternative texts for graphics inclusion, and link to specify the heading rows of tables. 1 The docu. 1 The current tagging markup for tables is temporary and a new interface for tagging tables will be developed. Ment just uses standard LaTeX markup that would be used in any LaTeX document since the 1980s. List with 1 item 2 document structures 2 document structures out of list. 2. 1 Mathematics. Let P be a prime, then NP equals N mod P. An aligned set of equations. F, x, equals sin x plus cos x f prime, x, equals cos x minus sin x. 2.1. Table with 1 row and 3 columns. Row 1 column 1 g, x, equals 2 cos xg, matrices. Column 2 xg prime, x, equals minus 2 sin x. Column 3, 2.2, out of table. 3412, 0111, equals, 3713, 2. 2 lists. Lists often occur in documents. List with 2 items bullet. They may be unordered bullet lists. Bullet or may be numbered lists. List with 2 items 1. Lists may also be nested in an outer list. 2 items within such a list may be refer. Items within such a list may be refer inst. Out of list. Out of list. Link here we reference item 2. Table with 2 rows and 2 columns. Row 1 column 1 page 2. Column 2. Row 2 column 1. Column 2 out of table. A. Figure 1. Larger image set as a float. List with 1 item 2. 3 figures and tables 2. 3 figures and tables out of list. Small images may be shown inline and small tables may be shown within the paragraph. Example name value. Table with 7 rows and 1 column. Row 1 column 1. Column 2 this 11. Column 3 this 11. Row 2 column 1. Column 2 that 2. Column 3 that 2. Row 3 column 1 are usually placed marginal. Column 2 larger figures such as figure link 1 are usually placed marginal. Row 4 column 1 notes are in a float to be positioned at a suitable place to help. Row 5 usually placed in the outer margin. Column 2 with column and page breaking. Row 6 column 1. Column 2. Row 7 column 1 2. 4 theorems out of table. Theorem 1. Fermat's last theorem. If n greater 2, then there are no non-zero integers a, b, c such that n plus bn equals cn. 2. 5 verbatim. Some documents require verbatim code blocks to be displayed. Main, printf, hello, world. 3 citations. It is also possible to cite works from a BibTeX database. Here we cite database. Here we cite link database. Here we cite 2 and link in 1 from the tugboat.bib sample file distributed with BibTeX. References: 1 Taco Hochwater, LaTeX Tugboat 28 3 312 313 2007. 2 Don Knuth. Comments on quality in publishing. Tugboat 5 1 6767, May 1984.
Okay, so the next question to you is, you have this pen and paper, write down what you understood in the article. I fear it is not much, is it? Come on, go back. Okay. So, I hope you had an enjoyable readout to you. What's your verdict? Here's mine. There are, at the beginning, a few words where you think, oh, this is okay, what's the problem? But then the rest was basically not in any way usable for somebody who has the need to do this. I've put down all these kind of things, and actually the presentation will be online after the talk if you want to reread it. I didn't put it online beforehand because I didn't want to have people sort of look through what I'm going to say. So here is probably not a comprehensive list of things that went wrong, like the footnote being read out to you in the middle of the word document, just because document was split over 2 columns. So it said docu, and then the footnote was read, and then meant was the next, and stuff like that. You have the mass ICS, and you have a lot of things. The dots are more funny, but I can tell you, I listened to these kind of things 100 times, and after a while, the dot really gets you. So there's a lot. Mathematics are completely non-understandable because only ASCII characters, letters basically, are read. Everything else is gone. Spacing, meaning is totally screwed. I don't know if you noticed, the matrix was read out in a totally strange order. I have no idea how it came about, but it was backwards and sometimes from one matrix to the next. Very strange. Yeah, it goes on like that. I have 4 pages and I'm not going to list them all to you. But basically, the last one was also very nice, where you had database, and sometimes links were repeated several times. You heard the same half sentence being read to you twice without any idea why. So this is the art of the state of the art that we actually do in what we force people who have the need for accessibility to listen to or try to work with. And so we tried a couple of different variants of this, like using different previewers. The processor, the process then was in some cases, in some combinations, slightly better in places, but then in other cases it was even worse. Just a quick one to you here. It's in the introduction, the text.
2. 1 Introduction. This document shows a typical 2-column document incorporating tables, figures, and mathematics. A partir from MTWO command SATTHE star TTO enable e-tagging. And da small l amount tof addidiona l markup pto give e alternative e text sfor graphic s inclusion. and DTO specify THE head and G row.
Okay. You notice what happened? At some point, it suddenly started to read out character by character. I don't know why, but it has to do with the fact that there's a link in the paragraph, and somehow it got totally confused. I can't tell you why, but I mean, this is the kind of things we have done for the last 30 years. So, conclusion, it's actually evil. And heuristics that are applied to an untagged PDF only work if the document has essentially no structure. Even a single footnote is breaking the things apart. The heuristics don't do it on the ordinary reader software. So the question is, what could be done better? So we tried a couple of other experiments. We said, okay, this is the free reader. Let's try the professional version that say to you, we auto-tag your document. So it has proper document structure, which would mean that if you go to a PDF checker, it would give you a check mark. The document is fine. This is what we did. The results were, unfortunately, essentially the same. Some things were better, quite a lot, so more structure was recognized, but the problem is the heuristics go from the visual appearance, and certain visual appearance are similar for meaning different things. And so the heuristics always have to make a choice. What could this mean if there is an extra space? Is this something separated, or is this just an ordinary word space? So a lot of those things go wrong. We have, for example, it was interesting, there were differences in the program, both from Acrobat Pro when it was done with Mac OS and when it was done with with Windows. So we have basically, I'm not going to show those all. So for example, in Mac OS, the table was no longer reading out the dots, big improvement actually, to my ears, but it was the last line, which was section 3, was suddenly announced as being a list. I don't know why. It was a list with one item. Footnote, again, was not recognized in case of the Windows version, surprisingly, because it was recognized in case of the Mac OS version. And in all cases that we tried, the mathematics stayed the same. So we had things like this.
1 mathematics. Let P be a prime, then NP equals N mod P in a line set of equations, F, X, equals sin X plus cos X F prime, X, equals cos X minus sin X, 2, 1, G, X, equals 2 cos X G prime, X, equals minus 2 sin X, 2.2, matrices. 21, 3, 1, 4, 1, 1, equals 1, 3, 0, 37, heading.
Okay, so it is better than the last one. The last one had a couple of tables introduced and mixed up the text with the formula. But still, I mean, given that half of the symbols are missing, you are not introducing something like a superscript or whatever. You are not introducing matrices. From a mathematician, this is not deducible what this formula should be, right? So, okay. As a summary, depending on the complexity, you get a little bit further, but basically, as I said, we have this problem that auto-tagging relies on heuristics. They are a little bit more sophisticated than for the free readers, but effectively the document, if it is a STEM document, is still unusable. We have mathematics and graphics. Graphics were also failing. They were simply dropped. So the inline graphic was no longer there, even though it has an alternate text or something in theory, or should have. Anyway, that's not the way to get better. Auto-tagging for STEM documents is not possible. I mean, it gives you the check mark, so your university or whoever is requesting that you make accessible PDFs will give you that, but the content is not presented in any way that it can be used by somebody who needs it. So we made a couple of more experiments. We tried and used the hype that is currently around and said, what can LMMs do here? So we took the document, the PDF, and asked an LLM. In that case, the first experiment was with ChatGPT 3, 5, or whatever. Please show full markdown source for an accessible document suitable for blind reader extracted from this PDF. That was the request. And the result was not bad. It sounded quite good, but the problem was, first of all, every time in the nature of LMMs, you got something different if you were retrying it. There were rewrites, there were drops. So for example, the LMM decided that the footnote is not important. Notes were just gone out. And the footnote said something like, this is temporary syntax, it will change. Now this is quite an important information for that particular document. It was just gone. We then tried a lot of additional prompts, refining the prompts each time to try to make it do better. And it got better with a lot of experimentation of what to ask, but it never gave you anything that you could say, no, how should I say this? If I'm the author and I make this thing this way and compare it to my intention, I can decide that this is good or bad. But if I'm a user who needs an accessible access to this document, I cannot ask the LLM to do it for me because I cannot compare what is wrong. So effectively, there's no way with the LLMs at the current point in time to get a faithful content out, which is then accessible by the people who need it. So that's really, I mean, we have a lot of those things. In the end, graphics, for example, we couldn't make it do the graphics properly because it seems to not really want to handle that, regardless of the prompts we tried. There were, of course, heuristics applied in one way or the other by the LLM from its knowledge, understanding of the world. And sometimes it just misunderstood the structure as well. So those kind of things always stayed in. Yeah, as I said, it's not something that is in any way good as a workflow for a user who has accessibility needs. It's okay possibly for somebody who wants to produce an accessible document and can compare the result before giving it to somebody else, but not the other way around. So that's the conclusion here. And so what else can be done? Yeah, we can throw in the LaTeX source, this piece of top line, document metadata, language is English. We want to have a PDF version 2. We want to be according to the UA standard 2. We want to have archivable 4. F means that there are embedded files inside. And we want to have tagging. This is what you can put on top of this document. And we did this and then processed the document with Lua, LaTeX, and BibTeX, of course, because there was some references in there using BibTeX, as often as you have to do in LaTeX. so that our cross-references are resolved. And then the result on the Vera PDF tool for validation gave us this. Everything green. Now, as I said earlier, validation, unfortunately, Vera PDF is a very good validator because it understands PDF2 and so. But verification as such, unfortunately, doesn't mean a lot because the verification tools are pretty bad and they do not check anything concerning content and those kind of things. So that alone doesn't mean much. And given the time, I can now treat you to the full video. This is what we actually get now after this.
A 2-column example, the LaTeX team, June 18, 2025. Heading Level 1 Abstract. An example document showing automatic tagging of typical structures found in a LaTeX document, including titles, sections, theorems, lists, citation lists and mathematics. A 2-column layout is used. The tagging enables the reading order to correctly follow the flow of text through the columns. Heading Level 1 Contents, Link 1 Introduction 1, Link 2 Document Structures 1, Link 2.1 Mathematics 1, Link 2.2 Lists 1, Link 2.3 Figures and Tables 2, Link 2.4 Theorems 2, Link 2.5 Verbatim 2, Link 3 Citations 2. Heading Level 1 Introduction. This document shows a typical 2-column document incorporating tables, figures, and mathematics. Apart from 2 commands at the start to enable tagging, and a small amount of additional markup to give alternative texts for graphics inclusion, and to specify the heading rows of tables. Link 1. The current tagging markup for tables is temporary and a new interface for tagging tables will be developed. The document just uses standard LaTeX markup that would be used in any LaTeX document since the 1980s. Heading Level 1 2 Document Structures. Heading Level 2 2.1 Mathematics. Let P be a prime, then n to the pth power is equal to n mod p. An aligned set of equations. 2 lines. Line 1 with label 2.1. F of x is equal to sine of x plus cosine of x. F prime of x is equal to cosine of x minus sine of x. Line 2 with label 2.2. G of x is equal to 2 cosine of x. G prime of x is equal to negative 2 sine of x. Matrices. The 2 by 2 matrix. Row 1, 1, 2. Row 2, 3, 4. Times the 2 by 2 matrix. Row 1, 1, 1. Row 2, 0, 1 is equal to the 2 by 2 matrix. Row 1, 1, 3. Row 2, 3, 7. Heading Level 2 2.2 Lists. Lists often occur in documents. List with 2 items bullet. They may be unordered bullet lists, bullet, or may be numbered lists. List with 2 items 1. Lists may also be nested in an outer list. 2. Items within such a list may be referenced. Out of list, out of list. Here we reference item link 2. Heading Level 2 Page 2 2.3 Figures and Tables. Small images may be shown inline graphic small skull in a diamond, and small tables may be shown within the paragraph. Table with 4 rows and 2 columns. Row 1 column 1 through 2 example. Row 2 example column 1 name. Example column 2 value. Row 3 example name column 1 this. Example value column 2 11. Row 4 example name column 1 that. Example value column 2 2 out of table. Larger figures such as figure link 1 are usually placed in a float, to be positioned at a suitable place to help with column and page breaking. Marginal notes are usually placed in the outer margin. Heading Level 2 2.4 Theorems. Caption Theorem 1, Fermat's last theorem, out of caption. If n is greater than 2, then there are no non-zero integers a, b, c, such that a to the nth power plus b to the nth power is equal to c to the nth power. Heading Level 2 2.5 Verbatim. Some documents require verbatim code blocks to be displayed. New line, main open paren, close paren, open brace, new line, printf open paren, quotation mark, hello comma, world quotation mark, close paren, semicolon, new line, close brace, heading level 1-3 citations. It is also possible to cite works from a BibTeX database. Here we cite link 2. And link 1, from the Tugboat bib sample file distributed with BibTeX. Heading Level 1 References, list with 2 items 1, Taco Hoke Water, LaTeX Tugboat, 28, 3312, 313, 2007. 2, Don Knuth. Comments on Quality in Publishing. Tugboat, 5, 167, 67. May 1984. Out of list. Caption Figure 1. Larger image set as a float out of caption. Graphic example image 8.
Okay, so this is what we got there. We gave this to Louis, who is Secretary of Science Engineering Division of National Board of the Blind, and asked him to take a look at the document and what he was thinking about being workable for him. This is what he came back with yesterday. So I changed my talk and put it on. And the conclusion I leave to you. Thanks for listening. There's a full set of those experiments and stuff on the web. And as I said, the slides will be online soon, the moment Carl Berry wakes up, and I gave it to him. Okay, that's it.
Are there any questions?
Many questions.
But loud, please. Close to the mouth.
I have many questions, but I can only do a few now.
Closer to the mic. I don't
Yeah?
hear you.
Now you can. Yeah, this is the direction.
Yeah.
So the first question is, you have this math rendering, so you have a LaTeX marker, right? So LaTeX marker is what you are trying to get at, or you guess it from the presentational aspect of it. So, for example, if you do not have the right LaTeX markup, and if you do it in some weird ways, using plain text or whatever, right? So what I'm trying to get at is, does the LaTeX give you clues? The LaTeX input is what you're trying to get at, or you get it from the way it is presented?
If you talk about mathematics largely, I guess we are using the LaTeX markup to generate tag PDF, the tags inside the PDF. For the mathematics, we generate MathML, but additionally, which is presentation MathML, but additionally we add hints to the MathML, which you can do so that the reading is according to the intention. And the intention is covered by what kind of markup in the LaTeX source the user uses. So if he or she were using \apps for absolute value, the macro would help the generation of the mathml to actually make the mathml say absolute value. Certain things are by default. So, for example, you have heard things like to the power of n. That's essentially the way Mathcat, which is the interpretation software for the mathml, is interpreting something like a superscript in certain situations. If you want to have a different interpretation, different reading, then you would need to give an intent. And this is possible because we are based the conversion on the source macro. So basically the idea is that something like AMS math is giving you a good reading by if the user uses AMS math correctly. In other words, it is using the commands in the way they are meaningful and not just in the way that, how should I say, they would print on the page. I mean, you can build up any kind of complex formula by using PicTech and have little dots building your symbols, but then you don't convey meaning and nobody can deduce what it is. But the idea is that this is coming through the LaTeX source, and also if users in a special field have different interpretation that they want to convey, then we will offer, as part of macro definitions, the possibility to encode that in the macro definition. So you have to say that if your macro generating two vertical bars do not mean absolute value, but mean something else, then you would give that information as part of the macro definition.
So in a way, the LaTeX input is your starting point.
Yeah, it's only LaTeX. The only thing that was done here was using the standard LaTeX I showed you before, the document, adding this one line on top. Actually, I showed it as 4 lines, but it's basically one macro with a couple of keywords. Adding this one line on top, running it, I think 3 times, or so, including the BIP plus the BibTeX call, and the resulting PDF was read to you. No other software involved.
So in a way, you are trying to get at content mathml from presentational LaTeX. Because I saw that when 2 matrices were put in between to implied multiplication. Right?
The implied multiplication is a feature of Mathcat. They recognize that certain things typically do not have an explicit multiplication symbol. So if you have something like 2ab, you don't have 2 times a times b. You say 2ab in your source, and everybody in the mathematical world understand that this is meaning multiplication. Mathcat by itself decided that it would be helpful in case of matrices to actually spell out, because the matrix reads so long, to spell out that we are still in the multiplication situation. That's nothing that we actually did from the LaTeX source. That's actually Mathcat. We can enforce or suppress it, but that came not from our source. That's Mathcat. So, some more questions?
A couple questions from the chat, from online. Ross Moore asked why in the non-tagged example it started to read matrices from bottom to top.
That's a good question, and as I said in my talk, I have no clue. That's just what Acrobat as well as Foxit do. It must have to do with the fact that they are sitting sort of between the 2 lines, and I don't know what the heuristics are that decided on this reading order. It's extremely weird, but we haven't done anything to it, honestly.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Thank you. The time is kind of up. Perhaps we can take it offline.
Ulrike gives me the time to answer another question because she is expecting
Then
10
fine.
minutes overdraw, so that's okay.
Do you have anything? Oh, the second thing was really very good. Even recognized, it did not say 2-column structure. It said 2-column structure. That was good. It recognized that there is a hyphen in between. Though the text did not show the hyphen. That's intelligent. Do you have anything on subscript and superscript? Not as a demo, but do you know how it reads superscript and subscript?
In mathematics?
Yeah.
Or in mathematics, we
mathematics.
had an example in the Fermat theorem. It was saying a to the power of n plus b to the power...
That's power, not superscript and subscript.
Sorry?
Power is different. Superscript and subscript are different. That's
Yeah,
mathematical. We can leave
if
it.
you mean x underscore I or whatever, x
Yeah,
underscore...
Right.
I think it would say subscript, but this is again by default. A lot of the things we can delegate to MathCAD because we produce proper MathML, so the subscripts and everything is encoded as MathML. So we leave it most of the time to the reading software to interpret MathML correctly, and MathCAD is doing this very well. In case of this situation, it was saying to the power of, but if there is a reason why you have I mean, I'm pretty sure it says for the underscore 1 or whatever, it would say something like subscripted by 1 or something like that. That's done automatically by the reading software because the reading software understands MathML through this add-on called MathCAD.
And the second audio was really good. It even did solve the problem of the segmentation problem. In natural language processing, you call this segmentation problem. You detect the boundary, so you know where one structure begins and where it ends, and then you add a little bit of pause in between. So it's it's audibly clear. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm done. Ulrike, your turn. Shall I unplug, or does it give a? It's okay. Good. Du brauchst dieses Ding. Das ist meiner. Der hilft nicht. Du brauchst den von denen. Der Pointer vorher.